he has found a home here at Ole Miss for now.
Yeah, I mean, he had some things going off the court.
Yep.
You know, I've heard multiple reports about the different things, necessarily not true. And anyway, let's talk basketball here. The guy can really coach. Because this team, I had watched them periodically this year, down 10 at LSU with 3 minutes left. You know, I watched that entire game. That's where I kind of came up with I was like, who's LSU? But they ended up coming back and winning that game. Watched them against Auburn multiple times. And I was like, this team struggles. If Purdue is not getting going, that's what I saw a couple of games.
It's a fact.
I was like, they have a tough time scoring. But they proved me wrong. They had an awesome year. They took Michigan State right down to the wire. I think it was pretty cool for me to be bulletin board material.
Well, I don't know if you saw, there was a guy. The #1 overall seed moving on to the Elite Eight. 3 20-point scores in this game for the Tigers, including their super freshman, Tahad Pettiford. He goes for 20. Denver Jones goes for 20. And Janai Broome, National Player of the Year candidate, 22 points, 16 rebounds as Auburn surges in the second half, 78-65. They went on a 31-8 run to close the door on Michigan. Michigan at one point had a 9-point lead. That was the largest deficit that Auburn had faced in this NCAA tournament. They rally in the second half, 78-65, and they are on to the Elite Eight. Bruce Pearl and the Tigers postgame with our Tracy Wolfson.
Coach, the smile says it all, but let's talk about that second half, a 31
31-8 run. What was the difference there by your team?
You know, Tracy, I just thought we played great defensively with unbelievable effort and energy. And we got to give. Hey, who are we going to call? God! Give God all the glory.
Let's talk about this team. This guy behind you led the way.
How good's 4?
22-4. And how about the freshman?
Hey, and this little dude, he is fearless. Fearless.
Well, Coach, I want to ask you, because I know you're not thinking about it yet, but up next, you got Tom Izzo at Michigan State.
Yep.
Your early thoughts on that one?
Well, they do it the right way. They'll be an honorable opponent. We got about 24 hours or so to get ready for them. But we represented the SEC. How about the SEC? And this year's SEC.
Congratulations. We'll see you Sunday.
Oh, I love it. This NCAA tournament recap is presented by Belfort Property Restoration. Bruce Pearl having a good time. We're here for a good time. We're putting in the time. Hakeem Dermish alongside Adam Finkelstein, Tim Doyle. Tim, it was a second-half surge for Auburn. A 31-8 run propels them to a big win over Michigan. Michigan sloppy at times with turnovers, and Auburn just too much firepower.
You know, when it got to 9, Adam, in the second half, I started to go, oh, boy. And what we saw here was, you got to go back in time. Michael Jordan had a VHS called Learning to Fly. He had to overcome the Pistons to get to where he wanted to get to in his career. They overcame the demons. Like, when I saw them down 9, all I started thinking about was Yale. I was like, oh, my God, they're going to lose this game. Like, they're going to lose in this fashion. Couldn't make a shot, was struggling. It was 48-39 with 12 minutes left. Boom. There goes the run. Pettiford hits a 3. Denver Jones goes on his little 8-0 run himself, and they completely turn the tide, and they dominate the game. I think this was a growing moment, and that's why you see the emotion from the team afterwards.
It was Danny Wolf versus Janai Broome for the first 28 minutes of this game, and it was a really entertaining back and forth. I mean, credit to both of those guys. They played exceptionally well. The difference in this game was Auburn's guards. Denver Jones, Tahad Pettiford, they both made big shots. Tahad Pettiford showing you exactly what we expected coming in from high school, why he's one of the most electric scoring guards in the country as a freshman, and he was big time down the stretch, as he's been multiple times this season.
Auburn with its 31st win of the season. That's most in a season in school history. Need to win a couple more to cut down nets for the first time in school history. Remember, they got to the Final Four in 2019. So did Michigan State that year. Well, the thing is, only one of them is going to go to the Final Four this year in San Antonio. Back out to Atlanta, welcoming the legendary Bill Raftery. Bill, thanks for spending a couple minutes here as you wrap up your game there in Atlanta. What'd you see from Auburn in the second half?
Broome, Jones, and Pettiford, pretty impressive, obviously, on the offensive end. Bruce alluded to in the interview after the game, I just think their defense was magnificent. They met the challenge. They got behind, as you guys noted. Just reacted, responded great. Very unselfish. You know, they screen well. They cut well. They're together. And they really made the game quicker, I think, than Michigan wanted, and that got them going.
Yeah, a great culture for both of those programs, a great culture for Michigan State. Their next opponent here in the Elite Eight, Michigan State and Auburn. You've seen both of these teams up close and personal. How do they match up?
Two different teams, two different approaches. Both are deep, though, and that's one benefit that Michigan State's had, particularly the latter part of the season. They've just been able to rotate bodies. The biggest thing Michigan State presents for them is the dribble drive. I think that's what won their game for them. Defensively, some of the matchups are good, and for Michigan State in the sense that they have 3 centers to match up with the bigs. But the way they can beat you with the bounce, this talented backcourt. Jones makes shots, and Pettiford, I mean, he's on a different level right now. Controls the dribble, goes either way, can make threes, puts you on skates. It's going to be a very difficult matchup, I think. Even though Michigan State likes to run, obviously we know they're a great rebounding team. They'll run, but they'll be very intelligent. Just going to run and jack up bad shots.
Looking forward to it on Sunday on CBS. The legendary Bill Raftery here with us on CBS Sports HQ. Bill, thanks for the time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good night.
The one and only Bill Raftery taking a couple moments of his time to talk with us post-game here. We continue our conversation, Adam.
That's hard to do because Bill likes to go have a few beers after the game.
Yeah, you know,
I've been with him after those games.
You should go enjoy your evening. You put in the work, you put in the time, go have some fun, go celebrate. Auburn's going to be celebrating into the night here, Adam, and you look at what they did in the second half. What really stood out to you when you got those 3 guys with 20 points?
I think when you have 2 guards going to the extent that they do, you have to pick your poison. Janai Broome is hard enough. I mean, listen, you made a point before the game that he wasn't moving quite as well. I knew we were talking about it as the game was going on. You said he thought he looked a little bit better. He still looks hobbled to me. His only offense right now is to bully you. It's all based on physicality. He got 22 and 16 tonight, just being bigger and stronger. He does not have the same mobility that he had prior to that ankle injury. Probably won't until this season is over. So he needs some perimeter firepower. Tonight, he got it. Look at this shot making. This is a freshman, Todd Pettiford. And I'm going to tell you a story, Hakeem, real quick. This weekend is the McDonald's All-American game. 1 year ago, Todd Pettiford got one of the last spots in this game. You know who was one of the first players cut?
Tell me.
Jace Richardson. We got an interesting dynamic going to happen in just 48 hours between 2 electric freshman southpaw guards, and I, for one, am very much looking forward to watching it.
Tim, you asked me about how I felt about Michigan State going up against Auburn. And sometimes you become a prisoner of the moment. You just saw the Auburn game. You're like, wow, how are they going to deal with that firepower? I still believe in Michigan State beating Auburn somehow, some way.
Yeah, I have Michigan State winning the region. After watching that game and that spurtability, Michigan State does not have that spurtability. So they're going to have to do a better job of controlling that 8-0 run by Denver Jones, Pettiford getting rolling. You know, they got a bunch of bodies that they can throw at Broome. I mean, Michigan's got some pretty big bodies as well. So, yeah, it's going to be a different game altogether. Michigan State's a completely different team than Michigan. Hats off to Dusty May. Got through Sweet 16, right? He took Vlad Golden. We didn't know, like, Vlad, Danny Wolf, how that was going to work out. I thought they, frankly, should have lost the first game to UC San Diego, but UC San Diego couldn't make a shot. That's basketball. And then they gave Auburn all they could handle in this game. So I think for Michigan fans, you got to be excited that Dusty's there. He's obviously done some pretty big things. Wolf's gone. Vlad Golden's gone. It's going to start all over again.
Yeah, they went 8-24 last season. Dusty May comes in first season, turns them around 27-10 as they lose their final game here to post their record at 27-10 in the Sweet 16. That 19-win improvement, largest in program history.
And the Big Ten Tournament Championship on top of that. Dusty May knows how to win postseason games. At this point, that shouldn't be a surprise to anyone.
Yeah, it was sort of criminal that they were a 5 seed. So that was a poor job of seeding by the committee. Dusty May.
We got to get him a different picture. I'm sorry. He's just a little too excited to be the Michigan coach.
Well, we get these pictures from the school. So it's not like he came here and we had a studio, photo shoot.
No, I understand. I'm just saying. He looks like he's really happy to be the Michigan coach. He should be. Now he needs to be a little bit more confident there. He turned the program around like that. You know what he's going to have to do in the next 40 days?
Yeah, he's going to have
to build another roster.
Yeah.
Really, really quickly.
Portal's already open.
40 days. Yeah, more like 4 days. I mean, we got to get moving here.
Yeah, so I assume Danny Wolf's going to turn pro. Vlad Golden is exhausted his eligibility. But they gave Auburn all they could handle. This game, before the game, Adam, when we were breaking it down, I really felt like Michigan could pull off an upset. Or they could lose by 25. And then they're up 9, and you're like, whoa, they're actually going to win this game, and then they lose by double digits. So everything that we kind of thought was going to happen, well, it kind of happened.
I think Dusty may maximize this roster. One of the things that we don't have transparency on is how much NIL all these players are getting. But what we do know is that they got tremendous value out of this roster. Danny Wolf isn't making anywhere near the type of money that some of the bigger guys out of the portal made a year ago, and he was fantastic all season long. He was fantastic in this game. It's going to be very interesting to see what kind of buying power Dusty May goes into next season with, because if there were any doubts about what he could bring to Ann Arbor, those should have been answered in the last year. Now he needs the resources to go out and not try and be make 60 cents out of the dollar, but to go out and really be able to spend with the big boys if we hope to get Michigan back to Final Fours.
4 teams from the SEC into the Elite Eight. And we could, by the end of the weekend, have 4 teams into the Final Four from the SEC.
What does that tell you?
Domination. I mean, they had 14 teams. They set a record.
To me, it tells me, I feel like Austin Powers there. They have the best NIL structure. They have the best infrastructure. They have the most money. They're the ones that take it the most seriously. They have the deepest teams. They have the best players. So, yeah, you see what happens. So, everybody else out there, Big 12, WCC, Mountain West, Atlantic 10, you want to win? Figure out an infrastructure and figure out how to build a roster. Dusty May's challenge is going to be, right, he had 2 bigs and he had those guys playing together. His team next year is definitely not going to look like that. But I'm sure other bigs are going to want to go there because he just, he developed Golden, he developed Danny Wolf. But the SEC, Adam, before the season, I picked Alabama to win it. Midway through the season, I picked Auburn to win it. Before the tournament started, I picked Florida to win it. They're all still alive. And right now, I'm like, I have Florida winning this tournament, but I'm like, oh, did I make the wrong choice?
And, to your question about the SEC and to your point about all 3 of those schools, it speaks to just how dominant this league has been. Remember, the record going into this season for postseason appearances was 11 from the Big East in 2011. The SEC got 14 this year, and if anybody doubted whether or not that was legitimate, those doubts have been answered over the course of the last 10 days because not only did they get teams in, but they won games. The SEC is every bit as good as advertised, and I wholeheartedly agree with you. That is based on NIL. And we don't necessarily have the data to support that because we're only a year or 2 really.
Well, we were at Hunter Dickinson yesterday, and I don't want to get too far into our conversation.
Get too far into it.
But I think we'd all lose our jobs. But yeah, it was interesting to hear him kind of break down Kansas. And you think that they're one thing and there may be another. And yeah, it'd be interesting when this all comes to the forefront of, why the Dodgers win every year?
Yeah, I do.
Spend a lot of money.
They have Shohei Ohtani and 2 other MVPs.
Yeah, but they also
they spend a lot of money.
The Yankees spend a lot of money. These teams spend a lot of money. The SEC right now is spending a lot of money. It doesn't necessarily always mean it's going to translate. But if you have the best players and you have guys buying in.
And the most best players, the depth is out of control.
Right.
Well, for now, 4 teams from the SEC into the Elite Eight. We could have 1 seeds all in the Elite Eight for the first time since 2016. We wait to see about that. Here's a look at those teams from the Southeastern Conference. Auburn beating Michigan. Florida going to match up with Texas Tech for a spot in the Final Four. Alabama and Duke going at it, and Tennessee awaiting their opponent as we await the final in Houston and Purdue. That game being played right now in Indianapolis. But my, oh my, domination from the SEC in this tournament thus far. Coming up, we'll relive the drama. Full highlights from Atlanta where Auburn rallies from a 9-point deficit, wins by double digits. Slap it on there. That's coming up. Full highlights. Keep it locked.
sports news all the time?
We've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you.
Big news coming out of the NFL. A lot of movement in the rankings this week.
With highlights.
What a finish at the final round of play.
And in-depth analysis.
Can they three-peat? Tony Romo joins the conversation.
What can you say about this game?
When you need your sports in a snap,
We're bringing you that breaking news right here on HQ.
find it on CBS Sports HQ. Streaming free anywhere you are.
The world of sports never sleeps, and neither do we. Welcome to CBS Sports HQ Morning Buzz, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. You can catch up on the latest storylines and highlights with expert analysis to get you dialed in. So grab your coffee and kickstart your day off right with Morning Buzz only on CBS Sports HQ.
Overall #1 seed Auburn, looking for its third Elite Eight appearance in program history. 5 seed Michigan, looking to advance to the Elite Eight in Dusty May's first season as Wolverines head coach. Mid-first half, Danny Wolf driving, dunking. Wolf, part of last year's Yale team that upset Auburn in the tournament. Under a minute left in the half, Auburn down 1. Janai Broome backs down Vlad Golden, working, misses, sticks with it. Tigers up 1 at the break. Broome a double-double in the first half. Second half, 13 to go. Michigan up 5. Wolf spinning and hitting. He finished with 20. Wolverines up by 7, led by as many as 9. Auburn facing its largest deficit of the tournament. 11 minutes left. Tigers down 3. Broome in the post. National Player of the Year candidate hook shot. That's good. 8 straight Auburn points gets the Tigers within 1. Minute later, Broome no. Dylan Cardwell offensive rebound, kicks it out to Hod Pettiford. The freshman step back. Auburn takes its first lead of the second half, up 1, part of a 12-0 run. 9 minutes left. Denver Jones for 3. Got it. Up 4. Next Auburn possession. Jones, another 3. Up 7. Auburn taking control. Lost 3 of their final 4 to end the regular season. Next Auburn possession. Jones up and in. Caps a 20-2 Tigers run. Start of the run down 9. End of the run up 9. 5 minutes left. Auburn up 7. Shot clock running out. Pettiford crossover. Drains the step back 3. Buckets. My name is Tahad Pettiford and I get buckets, up 10. Next Auburn possession. Pettiford. Fade away. So smooth, plus the foul. Up 13 after the free throw. He finished with 20. 3 minutes left. Chad Baker-Mazara, no look to... Oh, my goodness. Are you kidding me? Chaney Johnson with the finish. After trailing by 9, Auburn closes the game on a 39-17 run as the Tigers win it 78-65, advancing to the third Elite Eight in school history. Their 31st win this season, most in program history. Bruce Pearl, pumped.
Coach, the smile says it all, but let's talk about that second half, a 31-8 run. What was the difference there by your team?
You know, Tracy, I just thought we played great defensively. With unbelievable effort and energy. And we got to give... Hey, who are we going to call?
Let's talk about this team. This guy behind you led the way. 22 and 2. And how about the freshman?
Hey, and this little dude, he is fearless.
Well, Coach, I want to ask you, because I know you're not thinking about it yet, but up next, you got Tom Izzo at Michigan State. Your early thoughts on that one?
Well, they do it the right way. They'll be an honorable opponent. We got about 24 hours or so to get ready for them. But we represented the SEC. How about the SEC? SEC.
Congratulations. We'll see you Sunday.
4 SEC teams into the Elite Eight. How about Auburn with a 31-win season, their most wins in a season in school history? They'll take on Michigan State in the Elite Eight. Now, the Spartans and the Tigers were in the Final Four together in 2019. Only one of them going to the Final Four this year. Oh, baby. This is March. Tied at 60. 20 seconds left. Looks like it's going to be Purdue's basketball here. We're still waiting confirmation. We're watching this game alongside of you. Number 1 seed out of the Midwest, Houston, in a tie game against Purdue, went all the way to the Natty last year. And we're going to have a decision here, and we're going to have full reaction coming up. Keep it locked. As soon as this game goes final, reaction, highlights, analysis from Indianapolis.
Here are your CBS Sports HQ headlines. Colorado has signed football coach Deion Sanders to a contract extension that will make him the highest paid coach in the Big 12. Our Matt Zenitz reports that Prime's new deal will pay him better than $10 million a season through 2029. Sanders led the Buffs to a 9-4 record this past fall in his second year in Boulder. UConn superstar Paige Beckers says she will enter the WNBA draft. Beckers is the presumptive top pick in next month's draft, with the Dallas Wings holding the #1 overall selection. Beckers still has some unfinished business on the college level. Her Huskies are set to take on Oklahoma Saturday in the Sweet 16. And Hornets star LaMelo Ball will miss the rest of the season, according to ESPN. Ball is undergoing 2 minor procedures to address ankle and wrist issues. Ball averaged a career-high 25.2 points per game this season for Charlotte, who has the 3rd worst record in the league. The Baltimore Ravens have signed head coach John Harbaugh to a 3-year contract extension. The new deal keeps Harbaugh in Baltimore through the 2028 season, and Harbaugh is the winningest coach in franchise history and has coached the Ravens for the past 17 years, making him the second longest tenured coach in the league behind the Steelers' Mike Tomlin. Of course, Harbaugh led the Ravens to a Super Bowl title in the 2012 season and has made the playoffs in 6 of the past 7 seasons. On opening day, Juan Soto had his first chance to come up big for his new squad, but with the time runner on in the 9th, Soto struck out on a check swing to end the game. Chance for a redemption in game 2. Top of the first, bases empty, 1 out, 1-2 count. Soto holds off on the pitch from Hunter Brown. And Soto having some words with home plate umpire Rob Drake. Sure, he just asked him how his day was. Soto looking to turn the tide in his second at bat, though. Top of the 3rd, Mets now up 2-0, bases empty, 2 outs. Soto! Oh, yeah, he got all of that one. 390 feet, Mets up 3-0. They go on to win 3-1. It's his first homer with the Amazons. The Red Sox looking for their first 2-0 start to the season since 2017. Rangers looking to bounce back after an opening day loss. Bottom of the 3rd, scoreless, no one on, no outs. Jonah Heim lifts one, and that carries and carries into the crowd. 1-0 Rangers. Heim, he wasn't finished. His next at bat, bottom of the 5th, we're tied at 1. He belts one to deep right center into the Rangers bullpen. 2-1 Rangers. His first multi-homer game since July of 2021. Now, Rafael Devers was declared the DH of the Sox by Alex Cora when asked if he's going to play third base at all. Struggling to start the season, up in a big spot here in the 8th. Top 7, Hoby Milner blows it by Devers. He's now 0 for 8 with 7 strikeouts on the season. Now Alex Bregman, who replaced Devers at 3rd, trying to come through in the clutch. Base is still juiced. He rips one to 3rd. Josh Young fires to 1st. Got him out. Rangers win it 4-1. Walker Buehler makes his Red Sox debut Saturday night in Game 3 of the series. Orioles fresh off a 12-run, 6-home-run barrage on opening day, picking up Friday night right where they left off. Top of the 3rd, no score, 1 out. Jackson Holiday launches one to deep center. Orioles up 1-0. Baltimore's 7th home run of the season, courtesy of number 7. Orioles would go up 2-0. Then reliever Albert Suarez came in after Charlie Morton allowed 2 runs in the 4th. His first pitch goes wild, allowing Will Wagner to score from 3rd. Blue Jays lead 3-2. Now later in the inning, Blue Jays up 4-2. New Blue Jay, Anthony Santander. The single to right. Jorge Mateo. Oh, can't do that. Not ideal. The error, that allows Bo Bichette to score. Santander, 2 hits in his 2nd game as a Jay. Blue Jays going to win 8-2.
Bonkers finish in Indianapolis. 40 seconds to play. Purdue down by 3. Braden Smith, Camden Heide, bottom of your screen, bottom of the net, and we are tied at 60. Looking to knock off the number 1 seed in the Midwest. To the bucket. Out of bounds. Ball stays with Houston. So 2 seconds on the clock. Milos Uzan inbound to JoJo Tugler, back to Uzan. What a play that was. Uzan went for 22 points in this game. None bigger than those 2 right there. Purdue with a final heave, but not gonna make it as Houston makes it and survives. Survive and advance. 62-60, putting the 1 seed in the Midwest up against the ropes. Houston punches back with a inbound play that will be replayed for days. Houston moving on to the Elite 8 to take on Tennessee on Sunday. What a game that was. This NCAA Tournament recap is presented by Belfour Property Restoration. Back here in studio, Adam Finkelstein, Tim Doyle. Tim, that inbound play, what did you see? That was wild.
First of all, it should have never came to that point. Uzan pushed off, and that should have been an offensive foul.
You're going to call that?
Yeah, because I thought that was blatant. Let's just call it what it was, because I'm going to break down Purdue and what happened there. But he extended the arm.
He did.
It's a very easy call. Like, once you go like this, that's very easy. I get it. You know, last
same as the Derek Queen no call. You let the players figure it out.
Derek Queen took about a half a step too many. This guy dislodged his defender and he fell down. I think it's two totally different things.
All right.
Should have never got to that point. But the last play, if we're going to break down that, Braden Smith's the reason why Purdue was even in this game. He had 15 assists. He had the assist to Heidi when he made the three. But he gambled. And he's a very intelligent player, arguably one of the best point guards of this last 5 or 10 years of this year. But he was guarding the guy taking the ball out of bounds. It was Uzan. And he gambled. I know what he was thinking because I probably would have done the exact same thing. They set a screen. He was like, I'm going to go help. There's no way they're going to throw it back to the inbounder. Well, Adam, they threw it back to the inbounder. He was wide open. He made the layup.
And it was L.J. Cryer. It was that initial cut. And so many out-of-bound underplays, or OBUs, as coaches call them. The initial cut's the decoy. You're trying to attract some help. And then the secondary cut becomes the scoring cut. It was actually the third cut here because it turned into the inbounder. But it was exactly what you said. Braden Smith went to go help on L.J. Cryer. It was a terrific read to give it back to the inbounder. And what a beautiful set it turned out to be. Credit the kids for being able to make that read in real time.
We'll continue our conversation in a moment here in studio as we now have the first time that 4 1 seeds make the Elite Eight since 2016. Houston, a survive and advance game 62-60 as they advance to play Tennessee in the Elite Eight on Sunday. Back out to Indianapolis. Welcome to CBS Sports college basketball analyst, the great Steve Lapis. Steve, couple of questions here for you. Did you think that Milos Uzan pushed off there on that possession before we break down that final inbound play?
No question. I mean, that was really an easy call. I thought, you know, I guess they didn't want to decide the game there, but he pushed off clearly. That should have been a foul, no doubt.
What about the inbound play? Because that was genius, and I know you as a former coach, I know you love that kind of drawing something up like that.
Well, we spent a lot of time with Kelvin Sampson yesterday, and at the end of practice, he went over all these special situations where he put a certain amount of time on the clock. He went full court with 2 seconds to go. He went underneath the basket with 2 seconds to go, ran that exact play yesterday, and today they executed it unbelievably. And a lot of it had to do with, you know, everybody's got to cut hard. That's so important. So L.J. Cryer starts that by cutting hard, and then Braden Smith had to left the ball, maybe gave a little too much, didn't need to help that much to leave Uzan by himself like that, but credit them. They know the play. Step the inbounder inbounds, and he's got a complete layup because they forgot all about him. Just a tremendous special situation play by Houston.
A fantastic play to advance to the Elite Eight where they will take on Tennessee. You saw what Tennessee did to Kentucky. How do these two teams match up with a spot in the Final Four on the line?
I'll tell you what, you know how they used to have a P in the whistle? I got a feeling there's going to be a lot of whistles in that game because these are going to be really, they better keep the P's in there because it's going to be two really, really physical teams. And the whistle is going to be very important in that game, you know. And I'm curious from now to see how this game is going to be officiated because these are two of the most physical teams in the country. They're very similar the way they play defensively. Offensively, you know, they're both pretty good. Not great, but pretty good. But defensively, they're elite, and they both hit the glass, like the offensive glass, like there's no tomorrow. Neither one's a great defensive rebounding team, but offensive glass, they go get it.
We'll watch for the whistle, but certainly the ref swallowed his whistle on that Milos Uzan push-off. According to Steve, I couldn't agree more, but Houston moving on. Steve Lapis from Indianapolis. Steve, thank you.
You got it. Thanks.
So Houston on to the Elite Eight. They're looking to cut down nets. Been a runner-up a couple times in program history. They'll take on Tennessee on Sunday on CBS. First meeting since 1995. Houston seeking its first win against Tennessee since 1971. So these two teams going to be an interesting matchup come Sunday, playing for a spot in San Antonio. Coming up, much more ahead, a wild ending in Indy where Houston has to survive in advance, getting a call and then a heck of a call to win it. Next on CBS Sports HQ, presented by Belfour. little controversy ending of the Houston and Purdue game. You be the judge. Looks like a clear push-off by Milos Uzan. Doesn't knock down the bucket, but we're going the other way if that's called a foul. And we're not. The ball stays with Houston. They run an inbound play. Milos Uzan to JoJo Tugler, back to Uzan, and he gets 2 points, and it ends up being the difference of the game. We heard Steve Lappas say that was a clear push-off, Tim. I agree. You agree. You said, I don't know if they want to end the game on a call like that, but the more you look at that play,
I'm not saying it wasn't a foul. I'm just saying the whistle is different in the last minute of the game.
I'm with you on that. You don't want to end a game like that, but sometimes you got to make the call, Tim.
That one I thought was glaringly obvious. So, because the defender fell, and now a guy's shooting like a 12-footer by himself. Like, you know, I think the referee in a tie game, you make the call. Purdue takes the ball out on the side. There's 4 or 5 seconds left. You know, instead it ends up being, you know, you hate to say that, oh, woulda, coulda, shoulda, if they would have called it, Purdue would have won. No. But Houston, they were up 56-46 with 7:59. So let's just call it 8 minutes. The next 8 minutes, they scored 4 points. 4 points in 8 minutes. You know what Houston did? They went back to being the old Houston team, Adam, and they just could not get any buckets. Great play. You know, it's crazy that Braden Smith was involved in the last 3 plays. He had the assist. He got pushed over. Then he left his man who was taking the ball out of bounds. And then actually the last play, he shot the half-court shot that didn't come close. But he was involved in every single play. I feel for him because without him, I think Purdue would have lost this game by 40 because he did so many little things. And he had 15 assists, but he gambled there and he lost.
15 assists against 3 turnovers. He was brilliant. He orchestrated that offense tremendously, as he has all season. Remember, this is a team that was going to have to adapt to playing without Zach Edey, the 2-time National Player of the Year. Braden Smith becomes the total alpha. They're actually playing slower this year than they did with Zach Edey, and they just have that much faith in Braden Smith, and he took them to a Sweet 16.
Hey, I give the old Fletcher lawyer credit. Came out, banged down some shots. They needed him to step up. He has been known to struggle in NCAA tournaments. He's been known to struggle against tough defenses. Congratulations. I called him out before the game. He rose to the occasion. He made some big shots. I thought Purdue was going to have to play next to perfect. I thought they really showed a lot of grit, a ton of toughness. Tough way to lose, but great execution. And Houston prepared for a scenario like that. And when they had the moment, they nailed it.
38% from the floor. Not one of their best shooting games of the season for Houston. It's a survive and advance situation. What did you think of the inbound play, though? Had you ever seen that recently? Had you ever run that in your playing days?
Braden Smith blew it up. I mean, he gambled. I know what he was thinking, and he lost. He was guarding the guy taking the ball out of bounds. You ever see when the defender turns his back and a guy taking the ball out of bounds, like, well, throws it off his back and then catches it and lays it in? You're never supposed to turn your back on the guy taking the ball out of bounds. See ball, see man. And he gambled because he didn't know how much time was left. It's just sad, Adam, because the guy was awesome in this game, but he made a giant mistake.
When you go back and you watch that clip, because at the break here, I'm watching that in slow motion, and LJ Cryer started that with a cross screen, an elbow-to-elbow cross screen. And his man came off to help on that screen, and that gave him separation. And Braden Smith started to go on the help right at that point. He was watching LJ Cryer from the very beginning, and before LJ Cryer even, so first he sets the screen, then he comes off a screen. Before he had even gotten off that screen, Braden Smith was already going.
He gambled.
Yeah,
he gambled. He gambled and he lost. You know what we were talking last night about the Arkansas game? DJ Wagner, not once, but twice, refused to pass the ball, right? When you throw a pass late in the game, because what happens, I've been there, ball comes in, everyone. Do you remember Reggie Jackson in Naked Gun, I Must Kill the Queen? When the ball comes in bounds, everyone starts looking at the ball like, I must get the ball. And everyone starts focusing on the ball. So the pass, if you throw a pass late in the game, no one's ever ready for it. Think about when Villanova won the national championship. Chris Jenkins, right? Trailing the play, they threw him a pass. He was wide open. The pass is always open. Great execution. I'm sure if Matt Painter could do it all over again, you zone. Just play 2-3 zone.
Going to be fascinated to see what Matt Painter says in the postgame.
Well, he's going to say that should have been a charge and we should have had the ball. And he's actually spot on. Should have been a charge. Purdue should have had the ball. Worst case scenario, they're going to overtime.
Milos Uzan gets away with one. 22 points, none bigger than the 2 at the end of the game as Houston survives. It's time now for the Belfour player of the game. Tim, who are you targeting as your player of the game?
Yeah, I'm picking Braden Smith.
Okay.
Now, he made a massive error. He had a massive gamble at the end of the game. But without him, he had the key assist that tied the game. He drove in the lane. He had 15 assists, only had 3 turnovers. I always look at people's value that if they didn't play in the game, what would have happened? Oh, my goodness. Purdue might have scored 18 points in this game, Adam. Like, he does so many little things. There's the assist. He was the one playing defense. It should have been a charge. He was the one who should have taken that charge. He's the leader of this squad. Without him, Purdue would have been absolutely embarrassed in this spot. I know it's weird to give the player a game to a losing team, but he was that valuable.
And conversely, I think Uzan's the guy for Houston, and that's what this game was. It was a point guard versus a point guard, a great battle. Uzan, 22 points, 6 assists. That makes him personally responsible for 34 of Houston's 62 points. He was big time, and whether he pushed off or not, he had a terrific game, and it is representative of what we've seen from him through the last 3 or 4 weeks. He's been on a linear progression in the last month of the season here.
All right, so it's Houston and Tennessee in the Elite Eight. What should we know about this matchup on Sunday?
I'm going to tell you what worries me about this. And what worries me is how slow Houston is playing. When you are trying to win a national championship, it means you have to win 6 games in a row. They're only halfway there. And when you play so slow, it reduces the amount of possessions and gives you such a minimum margin of error. And again, just as we talked about earlier, this is a Tennessee team that can score the ball better than ever before. This isn't just going to be a defensive slugfest. They can score the basketball. We saw their backcourt go crazy tonight. They've got to be prepared for that.
This game's going to be terrible. I'm serious. It's going to be my Aunt Louise. You know about her, right?
I do. She has a glass eye.
Right. It's going to put my
Lovely
Aunt
lady,
Louise's
though.
glass eye to sleep.
Lovely woman. Lovely woman.
She makes an amazing scungili, okay?
Yes.
This game is going to be 52-49.
What network do we work for?
I think this game is going to be like, I know it's going to be an amazing defensive game, but where are they playing? In a football stadium, right?
In Indianapolis.
Did you see what Tennessee shot from 3 today? They shot 26%.
Yeah.
Did you see the total points scored in the Purdue-Houston game? It was 122.
Yeah.
Combined. They're not getting to 122.
Call on me. Call on me.
Go ahead, Adam.
Call on me. 1 versus 2, this is going to be awesome.
It's going to be my Aunt Louise's glass eyes going to be going to sleep.
All due respect to Aunt
Defense
Louise
wins
and the
championships.
Cinderellas and all that. Nobody wants to see them in the Elite Eight or the Final Four weekend. The fact that it's chalk, I can't believe that everybody's complaining about chalk.
I'm not complaining.
Chalk is great.
I'm not
Chalk
complaining.
means we have the best teams and the best players battling it out in the best sporting event of the year. This is what people should want.
I have all 8 teams in my Elite Eight. My Elite Eight is perfect right now.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're writing it in as it goes.
No. This is my live bracket, but in my bracket that I've got all 8 teams in.
I believe you.
Congratulations. I think this game's going to be no one sees 63 points.
Okay.
I think it's going to be painful. I think the defense is going to be great. I think it's going to be difficult to shoot. If you like defense, you're going to like this game. And if they let them play and they call it like they don't call fouls, the only way they score points is if they go to the free throw line. It's going to be impossible to score in this game. Impossible.
1 versus 2. We've got 3 of the 4 Elite Eight matchups are 1 versus 2. The only outlier is Florida, which is a 1 seed against Texas Tech, which is a 3 seed. So here we go.
I meant awful for scoring. It's going to be awful for scoring. If you like scoring,
that's fair. That's an accurate point. Yeah, that's an accurate point.
Yeah, it's not going to be an awful game. It's just going to be awful if you like scoring. My Aunt Louise, she likes scoring.
You know, 2 of the top 20 offensive teams in the country. Just saying.
You've been misinterpreted a little bit a couple times here with the Ole Miss being frauds. You said they were frauds about, making a run. I'll back you up on that. Yeah, this game's going to be awesome. It's 1 versus 2, 2:20 Eastern on CBS. We will be here to break it down on CBS Sports HQ. Coming up, the Elite Eight is set. Oh, boy. The first time we have 4 1 seeds in the Elite Eight since 2016. We'll set it up and break it down next on CBS Sports HQ. Back here on CBS Sports HQ, presented by Belfour. The Elite Eight is set. Does your bracket look like this? Mine does. I don't want to brag. Thank you. Look, I don't do a lot of that, okay? I like to be a humble guy, but hey, I'm pretty excited about this. Saturday, it's Florida against Texas Tech, followed by Duke versus Alabama. Sunday, Houston against Tennessee, followed by Auburn versus Michigan State. First time all 4 1 seeds made the Elite Eight since 2016. Bang. There we go. Here we go. This is awesome. Welcoming former All-Big Ten at Northwestern, Tim Doyle, 24/7 Sports Director of Scouting, Adam Finkelstein. Let's set it up. Let's start in the South. It's Auburn against Michigan State. Tim, can the Spartans keep up?
Yes, I don't think they have the same firepower, but I just trust this Michigan State team. They've been around the block. He has guys that have been around through the program. He has a star in their guards and Jace Peterson? Richardson. I know I always get the Richardson-Peterson.
Mo Peterson.
Exactly.
It's understandable.
And Tom Izzo's been there a long time. It's his 16th Sweet 16. I had them winning this region. I'm sticking with them.
I'm going to go Auburn. I think Janai Broome may not be totally healthy, but he's a force inside. And with Denver Jones and Tahad Pettiford playing with as much firepower as they showed tonight, if they can maintain that for one more game, I don't think Michigan can beat that version of Auburn.
All right, in the Midwest region, it's Houston against Tennessee. This is an awesome 1 versus 2
awesome
here.
Game.
Awesome game, but defensively, this is what you're going to get defense.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's getting 60 points in this game. I think it's going to be absolutely painful from an offensive standpoint because both these teams are so good defensively. And Houston, for some reason, has decided to play slow. And they're in a football stadium. And Tennessee couldn't make a 3. This should be like target score. Whoever gets 60, just be like, congratulations, you got 60 points. Yeah, I think it's going to be very low scoring. I'll take Houston.
2 of the top 3 defensive teams in the country, 2 of the top 20 offensive teams in the country. It is going to be slow, but I think it'll be a game of physicality and execution. I'm going to stick with what my pick was going into the bracket. That was Tennessee. I got to be honest, I would love it if Houston won, if Kelvin Sampson got a chance to go to Texas and compete for his first national championship, but I had Tennessee. I'm going to stick with them.
All right, so you guys are split here on the first 2 matchups. On Saturday in the West region, spicy matchup, Florida against Texas Tech. Red Raiders rallied from down 16 to beat Arkansas, 3rd largest comeback in Sweet 16 history. Texas Tech now facing the team, Tim, who a lot of people, including you, have cutting down the nets in San Antonio.
Yeah, so I'm going to pick Florida in this game, but I think this is a dangerous game. You want to know why? Texas Tech's playing with house money. They shouldn't even be in this game. What a dramatic comeback. And teams like this, they could play carefree because everyone's picking Florida. No one's picking Texas Tech. I think this is a dangerous game for Florida. I'll pick the Gators reluctantly.
I think that's a terrific point because Texas Tech, one of the best offensive teams in the country, and they got past Arkansas without being in a good offensive rhythm, without having a good shooting night. Both of those things are going to have to happen for them to challenge the Gators. But like Tim, I also chose Florida to be my national champion. I would put them as the favorite in this one.
4 teams from the SEC into the Elite Eight. Got another one here in the East region. It's 1 versus 2. Duke against Alabama. Crimson Tide hit an NCAA tournament record 25 3-pointers in their win against BYU. Senior Mark Sears had 10 of them. Duke also put up 100 points in their win against Arizona. Tim, how will this game be won?
This will be the opposite of Houston and Tennessee. This will be high scoring, high flying. Can Alabama make 20-plus threes again? I seriously doubt it, Adam. But in a way, I'm kind of hoping they do because if they do, then Duke's going to have their hands full. If they don't, I think Duke wins this game by double digits.
This is the type of game that you hope to see in a national championship game. The fact that we are getting it in the Elite Eight is just an absolute treat. I will say this, Duke has got to do a much better job of controlling the tempo of the game than they did against Arizona. They went into that one saying they were going to need to slow it down. They didn't slow it down, but they were so good offensively it didn't matter. To your point, I do think that Auburn is going to really need, Alabama, Peterson, Richardson, whatever, is going to really need to make shots to keep this one within striking distance.
Oh, we are working here on CBS Sports HQ for you. It is the first time all 4 1 seeds in the Elite Eight since 2016. We've only had all 4 1 seeds in the Final Four one time, Tim. It was in 2008, and that Final Four was played in San Antonio. Where is this year's Final Four being played?
San Antonio.
So we could have a repeat right there. Could happen. Could happen. All 4 1 seeds.
By the way, is your bracket perfect?
It's not perfect, but my Elite Eight is of all 8 matchups.
So let's just go.
Who do you have?
Let's go on the record right now.
This might be hashtag Fade Akeem.
Correct. You're right. I have Houston winning it all.
Over
So
who?
Houston,
Florida.
Houston, Florida,
Yep.
Duke.
Duke loses to Alabama.
Alabama, and then
Michigan State beats Auburn.
Wow.
Buddy,
You're gonna fade me. All right,
hashtag
fine.
Fade Akeem.
All right, that's fine. Go for it.
Starting a
Let's have some
hashtag.
fun.
Who'd you have? What's your Final Four?
I had Florida beating Duke in the championship. Michigan State. And
I have Florida. I have the exact same. Tennessee's I think the only difference.
And I had Tennessee. I scratched
I got
them.
Tennessee
I
in the
made a
Final Four.
mistake. Yeah.
All right.
You know what? I'm leading the pool, and I said if I win.
Oh yeah.
I said if I win, don't pay me the money. Keep the money and treat yourself with a pizza.
You can't start counting your chips.
I
while you're
didn't
at the
say it.
table.
People ask me.
You're counting your chips.
I'm not. No. I'm not
Kenny
counting
Rogers
anything.
said this.
I'm not counting anything. People ask me.
Count
They want your money. I'm not counting anything. No. Nope. Nope. You don't count your chickens before they hatch. That's what you don't do. Okay. Don't do any of that. I could get. There's these people right behind me, right on my nipping at my Nikes.
I'm in first place in the league. You got to see it all the way through, pal.
I'm aware.
Hashtag Fade Akeem.
Fine, go for it. Start it up. See how that worked out with you with the frauds. Saturday and Sunday, the Elite Eight on CBS. Full highlights and analysis right here on CBS Sports HQ. Coming up, one of the best games of the NCAA Tournament going down in Indy. What went down between Houston and Purdue? Controversial ending. Full highlights coming up.
3, 2, 1, let's go.
Ashley, did you know We Need to Talk is going into its 10th season, and we are bringing a digital show every single week.
So we're going to highlight women in sports, whether you're playing, whether you're commentating, whether you're working behind the scenes. I'm looking forward to us having the platform to lead the charge in that.
I'm so excited to talk with you every single week on We Need to Talk now.
Because everyone's in for a treat. It's going to be fun.
Get ready.
Wait a second. I thought we were going tubing.
All 3 Sonic the Hedgehog movies and Knuckles are now streaming on Paramount+.
And everyone loves it.
Every adventure.
Just try to keep up.
Every face-off.
This ends now.
And every moment that will have you saying,
Where have you been? My entire life!
It's showtime.
All 3 Sonic the Hedgehog movies and the entire Sonic universe are now streaming on Paramount+.
When you need your sports news all the time,
We've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you.
Big news coming out of the NFL. A lot of movement in the rankings this week.
With highlights
What a finish at the final round of play.
and in-depth analysis.
Can they three-peat? Tony Romo joins the conversation.
What can you say about this game?
When you need your sports in a snap,
We're bringing you that breaking news right here on HQ.
find it on CBS Sports HQ. Streaming free anywhere you are.
The world of sports never sleeps, and neither do we. Welcome to CBS Sports HQ Morning Buzz, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. You can catch up on the latest storylines and highlights with expert analysis to get you dialed in. So grab your coffee and kickstart your day off right with Morning Buzz only on CBS Sports HQ.
Here are your CBS Sports HQ headlines. Colorado has signed football coach Deion Sanders to a contract extension that will make him the highest paid coach in the Big 12. Our Matt Zenitz reports that Prime's new deal will pay him better than $10 million a season through 2029. Sanders led the Buffs to a 9-4 record this past fall in his second year in Boulder. UConn superstar Paige Beckers says she will enter the WNBA draft. Beckers is the presumptive top pick in next month's draft, with the Dallas Wings holding the #1 overall selection. Beckers still has some unfinished business on the college level. Her Huskies are set to take on Oklahoma Saturday in the Sweet 16. And Hornets star LaMelo Ball will miss the rest of the season, according to ESPN. Ball is undergoing 2 minor procedures to address ankle and wrist issues. Ball averaged a career-high 25.2 points per game this season for Charlotte, who has the 3rd worst record in the league. The Baltimore Ravens have signed head coach John Harbaugh to a 3-year contract extension. The new deal keeps Harbaugh in Baltimore through the 2028 season, and Harbaugh is the winningest coach in franchise history and has coached the Ravens for the past 17 years, making him the 2nd longest tenured coach in the league behind the Steelers' Mike Tomlin. Of course, Harbaugh led the Ravens to a Super Bowl title in the 2012 season and has made the playoffs in 6 of the past 7 seasons. On opening day, Juan Soto had his first chance to come up big for his new squad, but with the time runner on in the 9th, Soto struck out on a check swing to end the game. Chance for a redemption in Game 2. Top of the 1st, bases empty, 1 out, 1-2 count. Soto holds off on the pitch from Hunter Brown. And Soto having some words with home plate umpire Rob Drake. Sure, he just asked him how his day was. Soto looking to turn the tide in his second at bat, though. Top of the 3rd, Mets now up 2-0, bases empty, 2 outs. Soto! Oh, yeah, he got all of that one. 390 feet, Mets up 3-0. They go on to win 3-1. It's his first homer with the Amazons.
The final spot in the Elite Eight up for grabs in Indianapolis. 1 seed Houston from the Midwest against Purdue, a virtual home game for the Boilermakers. Pick it up with under 3 to go in the first. Houston down 3. Milos Uzan splits the D with a bounce pass, gets it back. Catch, shoot 3, buries it. Cougars down 2 at the break in a first half that had 10 lead changes. Early second, Houston now up 2. LJ Cryer blocks the shot. Juwan Roberts in transition. Emmanuel Sharp takes it to the rack. Houston by 4. A few possessions later, Cryer to Sharp. And that is Sharp. Caps an 11-1 Cougars run. Houston up by 8. 12 minutes to go. Houston's lead cut to 3. Uzan to Javier Francis. Go get it, young fella. Houston up by 5. Few possessions later. Swung to Uzan. Alone on the wing. tickles the twine. Nothing but net. Houston by 7. Minute later, Uzan for 3. A career-high 6th three-pointer of the game. Uzan, you can. Houston up 10. First double-digit lead of the game, but it's far from over. Just over 5 minutes to go. Purdue down 7. Braden Smith to Camden Heidi. Deep 3. Purdue down 4. Just over 3 to go. Trey Kaufman-Wren, pick and roll. Smith feeds him for the dunk. Oh, what a pass. Dropping dimes, down 3. 40 seconds to go. Smith to Heidi. Bottom of your screen. Bottom of the net. And we are tied. Smith's 15th assist of the game. First player with multiple 15-assist games in the NCAA tournament since assists became official in 1984. He has assisted on all 11 Purdue field goals in the second half. Oh, my goodness, the drama. 10 seconds to go. Cougars with a chance. Uzan pushed off. No call. Oh, wow. Steve Lapis said he got away with it. Houston ball with just over 2 seconds to play. Stays on this side. Inbound. Uzan to JoJo Tugler. Back to Uzan. What a play. Would that be the game winner? Houston up by 2. Uzan the hero. Last chance for Purdue. Smith. The prayer not answered, and Houston survives 62-60. Milos Uzan with 22 points. None bigger than the 2 at the end of the game to win it on an inbound. Oh my goodness. That was bonkers. Houston advances to the Elite 8 for the 8th time in school history, still chasing their first national championship. That was the latest go-ahead field goal in an NCAA tournament game in school history. 0.9 left in regulation. The right time for Houston as they move on to the Elite 8. Evan Washburn with Cougars head coach Kelvin Sampson.
Take us into that huddle. 2.8 seconds to go.
Yeah.
Why'd you make that call?
Yeah, well, obviously, when you're calling stuff at the end of the game, it's got to be something that you've worked on countless times. We actually worked on that play yesterday. We call it 50. We call it 51, and there's three different reads. They did a good job taking the first one, but we got to the second one, and Joe made the right read with the step in. So great execution.
What's it say that the one guy you added to this roster, and Milos, is the one that makes that game-winning bucket?
Yeah, he's come so far. He broke his nose, had surgery in October, early November. But his growth has mirrored our growth. As he's gotten better, we've gotten better. So really proud of that young man, as I am this entire team.
Unbelievable game. We'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
It's already Saturday.
Okay.
Milos, come on in here, my friend. Unbelievable play. Take us through it from your perspective when you heard the call in the huddle and then how it played out.
Yeah, I mean, shoot. Like, chill out, boy. Come on. I mean, yeah, the play was for L. They guarded JoJo wrong. He slipped to the ball. JoJo just high IQ, man. Gave it right back to me, and we was able to make a play.
You were added to this roster, and you joined this team in large part because you wanted to have a March moment. You just had one. Players dream of this.
For sure.
How does the reality match it?
Nah, it feels good. Definitely dreaming of this as a kid, playing in March. I'm just excited we was able to get the W, so got to keep going.
You ready for an Elite 8 matchup with Tennessee?
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Congratulations. Enjoy it.
Appreciate it. Yep.
Uzan, you can, and you can get to the Elite 8. Cougars advance to the Elite 8 for the 8th time in school history. And get this, Houston, one of 2 schools to make 3 Elite 8s in the last 5 seasons, joining Duke. Purdue, now 0-9 all-time against 1 seeds in the NCAA tournament. Evan Washburn with Boilermakers head coach Matt Painter postgame.
I understand it never comes down to 1 or 2 plays, but I do want to get your perspective on the play where Braden appears to take a forearm from Milos Uzan, and then the game-winning bucket for Houston. What you saw on both?
Yeah, I didn't see the first when you talked about it. At the end, we just helped out, and they screened and then stepped back to the basketball, and then when we helped to the outer third, and when we helped to the outer third, like you saw with Miles Colvin and the great interception pass that he made, you know, he came back into the ball, but we helped the other direction, and then he steps to the ball, and then if you do that, you got no one to cover the basket. So we just had a breakdown, but I told those guys, like, things don't come down to a play. Like, you know, we made a lot of really good plays in the game. It's just unfortunate they made one more at the end than we did.
Coach, you're nothing but class. We appreciate your time.
All right, thanks, man.
Really,
thank you.
So for Purdue, you know that this streak unfortunately continues for them. They've got 51 tournament wins. That's most tournament wins without winning a title. They got all the way to the Natty last year with Zach Edey, tried to run it back with Braden Smith, and a heck of a season from the Boilermakers. They come up short in the end. Didn't get a call there late. It's what could have been for Purdue in Indianapolis. Tom Izzo and Michigan State looking to advance to the Elite Eight for the first time since 2019. Spartans made the Final Four that year and lost to Chris Beard when he was at Texas Tech. Beard trying to lead Ole Miss to their first Elite Eight appearance in school history. Late first half, Jamin Brakefield, floater, up and in. Rebels up 10, their largest lead of the game. Late first half, Michigan State down 8 off a missed free throw. Jace Richardson ends up with it. Shoot the three. Buries it. Spartans down 5. He only had one made field goal in their last game. He had 10 points in the first half. His dad, an NBA great, Jason Richardson in the house, part of that 2000 team to win the Natty at Michigan State. Next possession, Jaden Akins for 3. Spartans end the first half on a 12-4 run, down 2 at the break. Beard, 8-0 when leading at halftime. Izzo, 13 wins when trailing at the half. Something's got to give. Early second, Jace Richardson can't handle the pass, tries to save it. Sean Padula, let me get that steal, let me get that bucket. Rebels up by 5. 2 minutes later, Padula drives, finds David Barnes. Bottom of your screen, long 2. Got it. Up 7. Get out your seat. Mid-second half, Spartans down 4. Jace Richardson, corner 3. The freshman, knock it down. Down 1. Part of a 14-2 Spartans run. Let's go. 4 minutes to play. Michigan State down 1. Sean Padula's pass deflected. Cohen Carr rocking the rim. First collegiate start in his hometown of Atlanta puts the Spartans up 1. Oh, yeah, so nice. Let's see it twice. Minute later, tied at 61. Richardson, scoop to the hoop. Finished with a team-high 20 points on 6 of 8, 6 rebounds. Spartans up 2. Under 2 to go. Oh, Jaden Akins gets that to go. Up 2 with just over a minute to go. The emotions of March. 40 seconds to play. Carson Cooper, big boy bucket. Michigan State up 4. They sealed at the free throw line. January, February, Izzo. A second half team indeed, 56% from the floor, and Michigan State wins it 73-70, outscoring Ole Miss 34-22 over the final 12 minutes, advancing to the Elite Eight for the first time since 2019, the 11th Elite Eight appearance under head coach Tom Izzo, 70 years young, and Izzo feeling the emotions of the moment.
Coach, are you tearing up?
No. I'm just excited. We didn't play very good the first half. I thought the toughness thing was a factor. Give these guys credit. They bounced back in the second half, played better. I didn't think we were great, but that is a hell of a team we played. Toughest team I've played in years.
What is it about your team?
I love these guys. You know, it's simple. You know, they don't quit. We've been a second half team. One of these days we're going to be a first half team.
You are crying, but I'm going to move on away from you for a second and talk to this freshman over here. You deserve all of this love, and I saw you embracing the moment at the end. What is it about this big-time game that you step up when it matters most?
I think my teammates, last game I didn't think I played really well for these guys, so I told them in the locker room I'm going to be better for these guys. So just stepping up, they believed in me, and I was getting open shots today.
Well, you know, up next, it's either #1 Auburn or your in-state rival. What are you guys going to be thinking when that game goes on right after this?
Whoever comes out, we're ready. We're ready. We're ready to fight for 40 minutes. We're ready to get to the Final Four.
Appreciate it. Enjoy this win.
Thank you.
That is now 8 wins when trailing at the half since the start of February for Michigan State, and that is now 14 tournament wins when trailing at the half for Tom Izzo. That's tied for the most all-time with Mike Krzyzewski. Izzo now a perfect 10-0 against the SEC in the NCAA Tournament. Ole Miss head coach Chris Beard postgame.
The thing I'm most thankful for, and really why my emotions are different right now than at the end of any season, is I'm just thankful. I mean, what these guys did. What these guys did is they raised expectations. It wasn't about, like, we've made it. It was about, let's get to work. 6 games in 3 weekends. And for that, I'll forever be thankful. And just, I know they're going to do that for the rest of their lives, too. You know,